Hello, Aries, all my Aries signs. This is your Home Light Security reading for the month of June. I'm sorry, my cat came in here and threw me off. This is your Home Light Security for the month of June for all Aries signs. If you've never followed these readings before, please look right there. Because according to Sun, Moon, or Rising Aries, will tell you how to understand these readings a little bit better for understanding where this energy is taking you. I'm pulling some cards for you right now because as I decided I was going to do the Aries sign, I saw a deck that was speaking up. And I'm not sure if another one is speaking up. Hold on one second. No, you can't get into that stuff. Leave mommy stuff alone. Nope, no, nah. I want to hear it. Nope, nope, stop it. It is not for you, my baby. I'm talking to my cat. Sorry. No. Say hi to everybody. Say hi, Mr. Napatone. Mr. Napatone. You have to stop eating all of your mommy's stuff. That doesn't mean for you go right back to it. No. It's where I keep a lot of this stuff when I'm making products. And he's trying to get into them. Sorry. All right. Anyway, this is for all Aries signs. And I also have some sales going on and whatnot. You can find all that information in the description box down below where I have sales going on. But what first thing is coming out for you all is this should be a renewal of peace, of finding inner peace within yourself and clearing the endeavors. Now, what I've been picking up, though, is a lot of frustration. I'm feeling frustration. What it is it's going back and forth between pride and ego and understanding where the soul is connected versus where the ego is getting in the way. But that's part of what they mean here when they say clear the endeavors, because this is okay. Let me show you the picture. See, for me, I'm not even seeing what's really here. What I'm seeing is more like her, like blowing it away. That's not what's on this picture, but when I look at this picture, that's what I'm seeing. And what Spirit is saying is this has to do with coming into a level of taking action within your spiritual communication, your self-communication, and trusting in your inner truth, your inner wisdom, divine wisdom, your intuition, your gut feeling, and knowing where it's going to redirect you. But Spirit is saying slow down. Yeah, I'm getting like, well, it's an it's an Aries thing. Like I'm getting like the little tugboat that could like choo choo. It's go 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 go. But it's not necessarily going at the pace you want it to go at, and you're trying to push to receive. And I'm getting slow down. I know that you guys are, you're like one of the fire signs that could. The fire signs that could. But the point is if you're pushing too hard, you're going to miss something that's important. I feel like it's not even that you're trying to push to receive. Maybe it's, for some of you, it's pushing to keep up. But frustration and anger keep showing up like it's beneath the surface. But trust your own understanding is what they're saying. Hold on one second. She's going to stop it. You got to stop eating, mommy. That's not a bead for you. Hold on. Neptune. You little, I love him. That little shit. Stop it. Stop it. Give me it. Oh. Okay, what other deck is there for them? Oh, that didn't mean for you to switch to 3. Good Lord. All right. we'll pick this one. What does, I swear, you little shit. My cat. What does Aries need to hear for the month of June? Can you give us a direction, a better understanding? Thank you. You can have anything you want. You can create anything you want. You are manifesting. But are you paying attention to what you are manifesting? You are the key here. And what I mean by that is what you are putting out into the world is what you will be manifesting. If you are putting out a high vibration of this or that, then that's what you'll be getting. If you are not, then you will be getting exactly what you are putting out. You are creating your own reality. But they are telling me that this is time for you. This is the Two of Cups. This could be bringing a new love to you. No, it's not Two of Cups. It's Four of Cups. This is realizing what you have, acceptance. It is a temporary pleasure or a boredom. It is feeling restless. Like I was saying, this is thinking that your cups are spilled and that you're having to run around and clean them up or downy them up. But if you're in this thinking, then that's what you'll be manifesting, is what they're wanting you to understand. Your cups are not just spilled everywhere. They can be overflowing. It's the way you choose to see it. How you choose to see it is what you'll be creating and what you'll be manifesting and bringing to you. What else does Aries need to hear for the month of June? I'm getting, what is this one? The Knight of Cups. It is very led by your emotions, very insecure and immature, according to the emotional indifference. If you are becoming misleading because you're jumping to conclusions too fast, you're emotionally in overdrive. Like I said, the tugboat that could. You guys are fire signs. You're very go, go, go. Very, I've made up my mind. I'm ready to go next. I'm ready to go next. And if that didn't work out, well, then we'll do this instead. Fine. Slow down. Because, like I said, what they're doing is they're opening up the understanding. The more you let your emotions rule you, the more that you can't make this a Four of overflowing cups, but a Four of Cups that are spilled everywhere, and you're trying to trying to brawny them up, with paper towels, and I've left this over here, and I've got this over here, and I've lost everything because emotionally endeavored, thinking too hard, keeping up, and ultimately that's what you will be manifesting. You have to slow down. You have to slow down. This is about coming to acceptance within yourself, slowing down, loving yourself, redirecting manifestation, and knowing how to handle it from there. Because as you do that, it brings you to the Queen of Wands. It brings you to one of your fire signs. It brings you to the beginning of a new thing. It brings you to a leader inside of yourself, knowing what she wants and is capable of getting it. So this is slow down. You're trying too much at once. You're trying to wrap up too much information. Let's see. I had another deck, and then we'll get into your astrology. What else did Aries have to say or need to know? What else does Aries need to know? You do have Eris in your sign, trouble, toil, strife. This is what I like to call vampire syndrome. I call her Medusa a lot. And Aries Eris still is in your sign, holding on to trouble, toil, strife. I call it vampire syndrome a lot because it's resentment, trouble, toil, strife, things that have happened and you're still sinking your teeth into it instead of rising above it, letting it go, letting it be the lower vibration while you rise to the higher vibration and put yourself on different dimensions. That's the key. If you're still holding on with vampire symptoms, trying to suck the blood out of something that's already dead, trying to prove that you're right, trying to get the strife, trying to, then you're lowering yourself, because what they're giving you is in Hebrew, and it's dealt. It's the doorway. The doorway is open for you to go through. The doorway is open for a new beginning. The doorway is there for the new direction, for the new era of your life. It's just up to you to choose it, to walk through it. Yeah, because then they're going into Hebrew and they're giving you the Gimel. And this is having the choice to choose to walk through that door, having the choice to choose between the good or the evil. And will you choose the lower vibration or the higher vibration? And it says, only today do we possess the opportunity of today. So it is asking you, will you ultimately choose the reward or the punishment? And this has to do with you rising and, like I said, splitting into a higher dimension and moving forward, or holding on to the twisted rope. And the twisted rope is the twisted dark side, holding on to the vampire syndrome. So you have the option here to figure out which one it is. Full moon. So when we get into your astrology, the full moon may be saying there may be something coming up at the full moon that really brings it into enlightenment for you. But full moons typically are telling you what you need to release, surrender, and let go in order to create something new and move forward. And I was also just given 12-12, which is it's time to step out of your comfort zone. Now, if I get into the astrology here, you have Mercury that's just moved into Gemini, your third house. On the 13th, it will. Sorry, it didn't just do it. It's about to do it. On the 14th, you have the full moon, which is taking place on the galactic center, which is in your higher self, which may be exactly what those cards we're talking about. Then you have on the 21st, the sun moves into Cancer, right here at the solstice. On the 22nd, Venus moves into Gemini. On the 28th, you have the new moon in Gemini, which is all about your inner communication, as well as your outer communication. And then on the 28th, you also have Neptune, which is going retrograde. Now, don't forget, Pluto still is in retrograde. You have Neptune that's going to go retrograde at the end of the month, and you have Saturn that just went retrograde. Not to mention, none of the astrologers are talking yet about the fact, technically, Jupiter is in retrograde. I mean, Jupiter is in shadow. And that has a lot to do with the relationships in which we are keeping. And I'll explain as we get here. Let me pull up your chart. All right. Jupiter is in your sign right now. So is Mars. Mars is the ruler of your sign, which is making you feel aggressive, bold, ready to take on everything. A little bit of a bull in a china shop, feeling like you're on top of the world and maybe a little arrogant about it. But that's not going to last. And I'm explaining it because I want you to realize where we're going here. This is why I was saying Jupiter is in shadow. Jupiter is bringing abundance to that knowledge, bringing abundance to Mars's energy, which is your ruler. Passion, action, aggression, your inner fire, your inner warrior, your inner SWAT team, ready to take on, and I can do anything. But the problem that nobody's talking about is Jupiter is in shadow. Jupiter goes retrograde in a month and a half, but it's going to retrograde all the way back into Pisces. Won't go into Pisces in a month and a half, but it will start the retrograde, which means Jupiter is abundance, knowledge, higher self. It's in your first house of your character, how you view yourself, how the world views you, how you view the world. It is your awareness, your self-awareness, your identification. But Jupiter is in shadow, meaning he's really illuminating everything of Mars to look at in the darkest of ways. He's illuminating the warrior to go to battle, period. He's illuminating the warrior for that inner SWAT team to build up that power, to take on that fire, and not to do anything. But he's in shadow. He's also illuminating, looking at your own character of where you're too hot-headed, where you're too quick to jump the gun, and you're not fully being a wise warrior. Now, I'm not telling you that you're not, but there's a difference between the warrior that knows how to take on the battle and win it, and still, like being a fortress that is unpenetrable, versus being the warrior who's going to attack and ain't really going to be able. You can attack all day, but you can't win the castle. Right now, Jupiter is trying to show you how to become and how to create the castle to become that impenetrable force, by showing you where you make mistakes, where you go too fast, where you need to slow down, because the higher self is not necessarily the higher self, it's the ego chiming in. And I say it to you on purpose this way because you need to understand, like I said, in a month and a half, he's going to go retrograde. He's going to be speaking more about your identity, your views, your character, your image, how you feel and see yourself, more directly only to you. Right now, he's in shadow and he's showing you it from the aspects of the outer world as well as the aspects from you. But he's going to retrograde back into the 12th house. And here's why it's important. Because you've got some also coming up in May next year. Whether it's good or bad, I don't know. Because it keeps showing up for me and it has everything to do with this Jupiter energy. And it's going to have to do with Jupiter leaving Aries, going back into Pisces, retrograding, working its way out of Pisces and back into Aries. And something around June and May, not June and May, see, because June is now, May is next year. Something about that is going to be showing you, did you do this right? Because if you're doing it wrong, it's going to be an area where you're going to be taking 5 steps back next year. And this is all about helping you come into the true character of what you are, believing yourself, knowing yourself, identifying with yourself, being the warrior, but a wise warrior, a solid, strong, firm foundation warrior of knowing exactly who you are and the world that you are standing in and how you will view it. Has a lot to do with your manifestation, has a lot to do with your vibration. And there's something going on here that has to do with this Jupiter that's going to start to move backwards next month. But right now, it's in shadow, helping you to see some of that shadow work and what you need to be working on. Now, to top that off, as you get into your second house, you have Venus here, you have Uranus here, you have the North Node here, you have Pallas here, and until the 13th, you have Mercury here. So this is communication, sensitivity, independence, individuality, uniqueness, freedom, knowing how to stand in your power or feel like the victim and needing to lash out so that you feel like you're in power, but really what it is you're in fear. So this is asking you, are you really coming? Like I said, this is all about making you that impenetrable fortress that cannot be taken down, making you strong and firm in your soul self, in your soul identity, your independence, your individuality, your uniqueness, your freedom, your ability to believe in your self-worth, self-value, self-esteem. Because with Venus here, it's going to be showing you extra sensitivity about where you're doing it right and where you're doing it wrong. With the North Node here, it's expressing to you where you're doing it right and where you're doing it wrong. With Uranus here, it's asking you to express your individuality, your uniqueness, your freedom. But when you're uncomfortable and you don't feel secure about that is when you and anybody else lashes out to try to protect it. But what they're really doing is they're standing in fear instead of standing in that impenetrable force. And this is what, like I said, a lot of this has to do with that Jupiter going to go retrograde next month. But you're starting to see where you're truly in power and where you're needing to tweak it, so that you can truly come into the power of you, the expression of you, identifying with knowing who you are, both light and dark, and having control over it. Now, the third house, this is where the sun is. So this is illuminating right now your communication. I'm sorry, I got a dread pulling. This is illuminating your communication with yourself as well as the outer world. And are you communicating, again, that impenetrable force, or I will lash out and attack? I will quickly sign away and say, yes, I'm ready to take that apartment. Yes, I'm ready to buy that car. Yes, I'm ready to get this cell phone. And not really fully read it. Are you in your power? Communication with how you experience yourself, know yourself, and what that has to do with the outer world, both in stuff that you sign as well as with the relationships and the way you express yourself to the outer world. Now, the sun is here illuminating whether you're doing a good job or not at this time. But you have at the end of the month the new moon, which is going to be taking place in Gemini, with Mercury now here in his home sign, and with Venus in that energy. So something's going to happen with this full moon that's going to help show you what you need to know, or if you're on that right path or not, and then redirect where you can redirect with the new moon. And how is that communication going? Is it extra sensitive? Is there areas you're afraid to communicate in? Is there areas of truth that you're afraid to communicate with yourself? Because Venus is not love. Venus is whether it's good for you or it's bad for you. Venus teaches you about what makes you feel safe, secure, and comfortable, what makes you want more of it, what makes you desire it, and why. And she also tells you about where you're betrayed and lied to. That's why it hurts. So Venus is telling you if your own communication is helping you or hindering you, and or if you're using it at all. And with this new moon is telling you, if you've learned whatever lesson that's coming in with the full moon, it's telling you how to communicate with yourself to be able to communicate outwardly, to create and bring what you want to you. So it is a valuable lesson. Now, you don't have anything else going on until, oh, no, you have in your fourth house. I skipped the fourth house. The sun will be moving into your fourth house come the 22nd, which is your inner emotional security. It is the roots. It is the home. It is getting really up close and personal because it's not just the home. It's the soul. The roots and who and what you are. What creates you to feel secure in your own skin, in your own life. And understanding if those roots have hindered you or if it's something that you have to learn from and redirect now in your adult life and your future. And you have Ceres here, which is speaking to you about nurturing yourself, or have you been neglecting that inner emotional security? Have you been not taking the time to do what is best for you in the long run? Have you been taking the time or not. And that's what Sirius is all about. She's the karma that comes from nurturing or neglecting. And the key here is Lilith is also in the fourth house right now. But Lilith isn't very strong and secure in the fourth house. Normally, she's a fire figure that's giving us the power to have enough ego to believe in ourselves and to bring out that power. But in Cancer, she's more of a nurturing energy. She's more of a feminine energy that is more submissive. And this is not what you want. This is not a time to be submissive and give away your power. This is a time to stand in your balance, but to know it, to truly know it, to not be the victim who's lashing out because it's just on fire, because you just got wind of it. That's your Aries ram. Aries, like to ram it up against the wall. We'll just keep hitting it and keep hitting it instead of realizing maybe you should just walk around it. This is saying this is a level of spiritual maturity, mindful maturity, identification maturity, soulful maturity, and stepping in your ability to independently believe in your own inner emotional security by not allowing the emotions to rule you, but being able to Gemini it, the twins in balance. And I always call the twins Jekyll and Hyde. I'm going back to your communication house right now. The twins is Jekyll and Hyde, but I'm doing it like this because they're the twins. One is all emotion, one is all logic. But twins are supposed to be equally, not I'm only emotion or I'm only logic. They're supposed to be a joint, unified situation. So this is saying learning how to not allow your emotions to get away with you, and then securing yourself to become that impenetrable force. It's actually a very powerful and beautiful lesson right now. Now, your 8th house is Scorpio, and this is about being able to create healthy relationships by knowing exactly what is being why being understanding where the lessons of these first 4 houses will address, shift, and change the relationship. See, because when you come into this higher vibration, this higher power, this higher level of knowing yourself, control, then it changes the relationship. You don't have to be a submissive here. You're balanced more. It also allows you to shift the rules, the walls, the boundaries in these relationships, whether it's your spouses, the ones you're dating, it's your husbands, your wives, your children, your parents, your work friends. When you're in that power and you're in that security of yourself, then you are capable of shifting relationships, rules, walls, and boundaries to work for you in healthier ways. And this is an area of where this lesson of those first 4 houses are shifting these relationships rules. But the thing is, the South Node is here, which is making you want to give in, because the South Node is everything you're good at, but it's not good for you. It just keeps stagnant. It just is stale energy. It keeps you from moving forward. That's what the South Node is. It's what you've already done, what you've been able to manipulate in relationships to continue to work for you. But really, are they working? And I don't mean the relationship in general. I mean, that's what the South Node is. The South Node manipulates the situation because you've gotten so good at it that it makes it work for you. But what is it doing? Is it working for you? Is it making it stagnant? So when we put it into relationships, it's asking you, are we getting into stagnant relationships, stale relationships? They aren't just going anywhere, they're just settling. They're there. But are they enjoying? Are they joyous? Are they fruitful? These are part of the questions that these first 4 houses are asking you to acknowledge about where you're taking your life and the people that you choose to have in them. Do you want just or do you want something that's fruitful? Now, your 9th house is where the full moon is going to take place. The full moon takes place in Sagittarius, which I always say technically belongs to the higher self anyway. And you have the moon coming in here. It's going to be directly in opposition of Gemini, your 3rd house of communication. So it's going to be showing you where you're either communicating with yourself in a healthy way or where you're not, where you're forsaking yourself or denying yourself. Like I said, it's going to be asking you, are you nurturing stagnant communication? Or are you nurturing that you as a soulful person can communicate and understand yourself and not be ruled by your emotions enough to be an impenetrable force? Very big difference between impenetrable force and the full moon is going to be illuminating by tweaking your emotions to see where you're out of balance, where you're not in that security level. But or it's going to be showing you exactly where you have learned the lesson. Either way, it's helping you redirect everything for the next couple months according to where that new moon will take you in Gemini at the end of the month, because it will have gone from full moon to new moon. So either way, it's going to be helping you in that sense. Hold on 1 second. What in the heck? You there? Okay, I don't know what happened. Every once in a while, it freezes up and it does weird shit. Anyway, so that's where you are on that. Now, when you're coming into your 10th house, your 10th house, and I'm putting your 10th and your 11th house together because it's Jupiter, which is in retrograde. But it's the 10th house is Jupiter, which is in retrograde. The 11th house now has Saturn in it, and it's also in retrograde. The 10th house is your prestige, your honor, your reputation, your social foundation, your outer world, the authority of the outer world. But the 11th house are all the people that's in the outer world. It's the groups, the memberships that you keep, along with they support you either coming into the authority of being part of the authority of your own outer world, or they support you not being in that authority. The groups you keep, the memberships you keep, are either what helps structure and backbone your inner emotional security, your belief in yourself, your feel for yourself. They pat you on your back and help you create your goals, dreams, and ambitions, or they manipulate you and push you around and don't give you time to create it. So we're looking at the outer world, your honor, your reputation, your prestige, which does deal with who are the people you keep. What are the things that you are doing in that outer world? And is it helping you actually come into an authority figure within your own life? Or is it just submissive? Yes, I'll do whatever y'all tell me I have to. You know, like I gotta wear a mask. You know, it's having authority over your own life. And Pluto is in retrograde. Saturn is in retrograde, which means both of them are speaking up about setting rules, laws, and boundaries in the outer world to support the impenetrable force, to strengthen you becoming who you are, not keeping what works against your honor, your reputation, your prestige. What does not work against who you want to be seen as by the world and how you want this world to view you, because you're actually able to back it up and say it and bring it into reality. strengthening who you are by believing in who you are and keeping peers who do the same and just as evenly support you. If they're not supporting you, they're showing you. Now, hear me out though. You can have friends who don't agree with you, don't necessarily agree with what you're building, but they can still support you. I love you. I want to see you do whatever it is. I'm not really into it, but I believe in you. Versus the ones who are like, yeah, well, I know that's what you want to do, but really what we need to do is this, this, and this, and we have to do these things, and they don't let you be you. That's the difference of what I'm trying to talk about. Now, this is all setting rules, walls, and boundaries, taking chances, trying new things, realizing if it works, if it doesn't. In the outer world, if you fall on your face, you just get up. You try again. You learn what works and what doesn't. And then as you get into your 12th house, now there's a different kicker. Neptune is about to go retrograde in the 12th house. Neptune's been here for a mighty long time. But he's also at the last couple degrees finally. We're finally getting near the end. He's finally learning the lessons. The 12th house is your grief, your sorrow, your shame, your blame, your insecurities. He's the skeletons in the closet, the dust under the rug. But the dust under the rug is always still in the same room as you. So even though it's the pink elephant in the room that nobody sees, your grief, sorrow, shame, blame, and insecurity, it's still there, depending on your issues as to why. So this is us reevaluating. Are we recreating another cycle of dust under the rug? Are we ready to pick the rug up, shake all the dirt loose, and look at what we have to look at so it's clean? A brand new clean surface to truly start a new beginning. See, magic is Neptune's. Neptune is the magic of the soul. The ability to create or discreate. The ability of illusion and delusion. Fantasy and reality. Having it under the rug is nothing more than fantasy. Reality is healing it, cleaning it, and moving the fuck on. I love you guys. Bye.